The present unemployment rate of Armenia is 40%. We still have people living shacks like this. After the earthquake, with the help of dedicated volunteers, we provided building material to help build and purchase houses. One of the houses built was in memory of my very dear friend Garbis Zartarian. Mrs. Zartarian, the wife of Garbis, along with her children and grandchildren, decided to join me with the volunteers from Surp Asraz in Armenian Church in Whitensville to build a house for a family in desperately need. Mrs. Zartarian, in memory of her husband, Garbis, with great joy, picked up the first 2 rocks to place them in the foundation. As you can see, heavy tufa rocks are being carried to the mason. The days were extremely hot, with temperature reaching high into the 90s. But the team never stopped working with joy and excitement. Ladies and gentlemen, crawled up on the roof, second from left is Margaret, my wife. During a brief break, the Zartarians heard that Vartan, the mason, who was helping us to build this house, needed help himself to carry tufa crushed stones to his attic as an insulation. Without hesitation, the group decided to drop everything and go to help move the rocks. This is the house which we had started to build for Vartan and his family a few months before. Here, within 2 hours, they moved the rocks with pails, which would have taken days for Vartan and his wife to do. Every day, after hard work, I took the group to nice restaurants to be refreshed and sightseeing to see the motherland, Armenia. One day, I took them all the way to the borders of ruins of Ani. The hard-working group on the steps of Noravan. Imagine coming to church by climbing these steps without railings. Down on the ground in the center is my wife Margaret. As some of you know, because of his faith in Jesus Christ, St. Gregory the Illuminator was thrown into this pit. As you know, through St. Gregory, the Armenian nation became the first nation to adopt Christianity as our national religion. I took the group to meet His Holiness Karakin II, a group picture with His Holiness Catholicos of all Armenians. The summer camp of our orphans is under auspices of the Eastern Prelacy of the Armenian Church with the cooperation of the Prelacy Office in Yerevan, funded by individuals like you, organizations and churches. Here my wife Margaret and our granddaughter Grace sorting the games and gifts for the children to take with me to camp. The journey to camp starts from Mezanersis, the Prelacy Office in Yerevan. My volunteers, with the cooperation of the staff, pick the orphans who are most in need. Here I welcome the kids and assure them and their loved ones that they will be having a great time and that the children will be in good hands, cared for by very well-trained counselors. In the bus, on their way to Dalgatsur, sometimes escorted by police officers, In the center, Shushan, the director of the camp, makes sure the kids will have a happy start, singing all the way to the campsite. Here the children are getting off the bus. Incidentally, the facility is a very modern summer resort. 3 children sleep in one room, having a private bathroom with shower and 24-hour hot water. We also have a registered nurse, Stella, on the premises. We have a set schedule for each day. The day starts at 7 in the morning with exercise. The instructor with the red shirt on your left is Andre, who served 2 years in the army. When he was only 6 years old, his father was killed in the Karabakh War. After everyone takes their shower, we have morning service, where we study about our saints and the sacraments of the church, have Bible lessons, and learn of our national history. During this service, we ask the children whether they have been baptized and find many children have not. We get in touch with their families and ask their permission to baptize their children without any cost to them. Every year I baptize between 10 to 25 children. We have arts and crafts lessons. I take most of the arts and craft materials with me for the camp. They compete with each other seriously, and at the end of the session, the judges will evaluate their work and we will give them awards and prizes. During the camp, there is never a dull moment. All the games are designed to create a friendly atmosphere, healthy fellowship, and competition. Our intention is to create and form a big family. That is why the camp is called the Big Family instead of camp or jambar. I have to be like one of them, carrying an egg in a spoon without dropping it. I think I succeeded. Remember, when they come to camp, they don't know each other. They come from different backgrounds and families, and sometimes it takes time to get along with each other. I have had cases when the counselors have asked me to send the troublemakers back home. They're hired. They will disturb the camp, they say. I tell them to give the child some time and be patient. They are here to be changed. Sure enough, within a couple of days, they become like angels. They become more loving and compassionate toward each other, and they care and protect each other. Shushan is teaching the skill of moving the cups. At the right, my granddaughter Michaela with Sona, Shushan's daughter, preparing arts and crafts materials for the kids. Michaela, who doesn't speak Armenian, yet is able to communicate with children and have fun helping the staff. Sometimes I hear her laughing out loud when I ask her, "How do you understand each other?" She would reply, "Don't worry, Metz Papa, we understand each other okay." My son Ara addressing the children from his life experience. Here at the end of the day, we evaluate the performance of the activities. During the camp session, we also have field trips. We take them to other churches, Lake Sevan, places they never have seen or been before. We feed them and teach them to pray before and after the meal. Many of them are not accustomed to do so. A group picture in front of Sevanabank. By the way, when we visit churches, we always offer prayers and sing sharagans. Sometimes we spend our time in open space, again playing games, always having in mind to have a good fellowship and build a strong bond between one another. When I noticed Mount Ararat, I had to be in a picture with this majestic mountain where Noah's Ark rested. Samosavan Church is very special and memorable for Margaret and myself. Here I am telling the children that in 1984, during communist regime, my wife and I had visited this church when the church doors were chained. We prayed outside the chained church. Later, when we had the independence and the churches were opened, I had the privilege and the honor to perform a divine liturgy, Badarak, with my deacons from Whitensville and preach in this church. I had to visit Qarabağ for a couple of days. On the way to Qarabağ, we visited Date Church. We were told that this church was built during the 1st century, when Thaddeus and Bartholomew were sent to Armenia to preach the gospel. According to the tradition, Apostle Thaddeus had helped to build this church. That is why it's called Date Church. During my visit to Qarabağ, when people heard that I was in town, they asked me to preach. Here, preaching to the faithful of the Armenian Apostolic Church in Qarabağ. One of the responsibilities of each group is to write and perform dramas, taken from the Bible on the parables of Jesus. They take the parable of the Gospels, like the prodigal son, the Good Samaritan, or the unjust judge. They write the script. They also make the costumes and perform for us. Later, the judges would evaluate and award them. Here is the parable of the Good Samaritan, helping the wounded. A group photo of all actors and actresses. They really work hard to make sure they do their best. We have many outdoor activities. They are excited to be part of it, and to watch them is fun. During the activities, we discover the true personality of each child. Are they hyper, aggressive? Do they take the game seriously? Or do they play just to have fun? We also see how some of the children care for each other by helping one another. They are filling the buckets with water with small cups. Again, during this game, we find some children so hyper, yet others are gentle, helping each other to make sure they achieve their goal as a team and not individually. When we find out that some of the children are not baptized, I make the arrangement with the local primate and the church pastors. We find the godparents, covers, baptize them, and we pay all the expenses. This is a group photo in the church with the newly baptized children. Here are the children with their godparents. Also, a group photo in front of the Kacheris monastery. After the baptism, according to the Armenian custom, we give them a very well prepared reception with their relatives. That day, we feed more than 100 guests with delicious cakes. These are the baptized children with their godparents. This is the dining room of the resort. As you can see, very spacious and clean. At the end of the session, I take them to His Holiness Karakin II, Catholicos of all Armenians, who knows all of my ministry in Armenia and has instructed the prelates and the priests to provide me any help when I needed them. After listening my report about the camp, His Holiness talks to the children and gives his fatherly blessings. A group picture with His Holiness. One day before we depart, it's a tradition to have bonfire, when these kids sing and dance around the fire. The good part is they sing as loud as they can. No one is there to complain. The most difficult time for us all is the last night of the camp. It is time to say goodbye. You will not find a single child or counselor without tears. Complete strangers are now bonded and have become brothers and sisters of the big family. Now they have to say goodbye. They try hard to comfort each other, and sometimes the counselors need comforting themselves. Here is, for instance, Sona, who majored in political science, trying to comfort a child, and at the same time can't hold her tears back. In Parakat Echmiadzin, I also have the Agape Meal Ministry. Some elderly parishioners of this church walk hours from adjacent villages to come to church. In order to take communion, they come fasting. 2 years ago, the pastor of the church approached to me and asked me if I can help provide kitchen and dining necessities in order to feed the elderly with hot meal and not send them home hungry. We brought in water, got a stove, dishes, and silverware, and helping them financially to provide food every Sunday. Sometimes the children of the big family with their counselors visit this church. And after church service, as you can see, they joyfully serve the elderly. The camp session ends, but the program never ends. Every Sunday, Shushan, Sona, and a couple of counselors take groups to church. After the church service, they have sandwiches, fellowship, fun, and Bible study. Here they celebrate the New Year's Eve together in Shushan's house. One day I was informed that the Hovanesian family consisted of 9 people living in one room. Here is their kitchen. And their closet is the bunk bed. "18-year-old Annie, a bright student, used to do her homework after everybody gone to bed. She would take a small lamp in a corner of the room and study until 4 in the morning. Now she is happy in her new house. Here is one of the bedrooms of the house. One day I received a call from Shushan telling me that Annie needed an urgent surgery. She was, of course, concerned about the cost. I told her not to hesitate to find the best hospital and the best surgeon and let them do whatever is medically necessary for her. They operated Annie and took out more than 4 pounds of a tumor from her uterus. Thank God it was not cancerous. We are covering the cost of her medication. She was doing great, praise the Lord. Here is Annie with her mother and Shushan after surgery. In her thank you letter, Annie wrote, "Dear Hayr, even in my pain, I promise to you not to lose my smile and always will thank God." Vartan is a young teenager, 19 years old, but mentally he has the mind and the skill levels of a 4-year-old child. We provide him diapers, toys, Legos, gas, and heat for the winter. Vartan can't walk, but as you see, crawls on his knees. His mother cleans houses and makes $100 a week. Father has left them, they don't know where he is. Here Shushan and Sona brought him Legos. He is thrilled putting it together. So are Shushan and Sona. They were living in a shack. They just moved in a 2-bedroom house. Not too long ago, I got a call from Bishop Father Archpriest, who had heard about my ministry in Armenia. He told me that someone has donated a farm with more than 7 acres of land and asked me if I was interested in utilizing it to help the local farmers. I did not lose time, got on the plane and went to see the property and hear their plan. It was my dream to help the farmers who were leaving their villages and homes. In front of the farm, the expert team with Bishop Archpriest It is a brand new lab for animals. Now it is a law to test the health of animals before and after they slaughter for food. I have a committee in Armenia who understand farming and are working to put a plan together. When the children heard that I was in Armenia, they eagerly wanted to see me and spend some time with me. We took them to a place where they could play games, put puzzles together, have pizza, and have fun. Here is a group photo with the kids. It was an exciting couple of hours. Here is Andre and Anahit. Andre is one of our own orphan. Andre was 6 years old when his father was killed in the Karabakh War. I had the privilege marrying them in 2015. Artsakh, Andre's brother, who was 2 years old when his father was killed, doesn't remember his father. I married Artsakh and Marine in 2017. Incidentally, their mother Stella, who is a registered nurse, stays with us during camp session in case the children get hurt or have health problems. In one of my trips, I had the opportunity preaching in Lebanon and in France. In France, performed Badarak and preached in Surp Kevork Church. The translator is Dr. Hovannes. A group photo with a choir, deacons, and acolytes. Seated in the wheelchair is Sabro, Dr. Hovannes' father. In the early 60s, while I was preaching in Aleppo, Syria, Brother Sabro had come from Qamishli, Syria to visit me. For 50 years, Brother Sabro was looking for me. After we found each other, I visited Sabro several times. And when he passed away, I had the privilege and the honor to perform his funeral. During the camp, one of the best times is to sing and dance together. Someone had said, "Charere yer chunin," that is to say, the bad people don't have song or they don't sing. During singing and dancing, not only do the children have fun, but also they forget their poverty, their bad memories, loneliness, and anything else burden them in their lives. Now they have joined with the peers who are happy and full of joy. During singing and dancing, their mindset is completely changed. What a joy is to watch their thrilled, relaxed, happy faces. None of them knew how to dance. I watched them learning step by step. Here they dance Lorke Lorke. I must mention that some of the counselors are graduates of our camp. Because of that, they know the children's pain and concern. Thus, they become more productive, effective, and inspiring to these young minds. I hope you enjoyed watching this presentation. I ask you to pray for us and, if possible, help us to continue this God-pleasing ministry. Every year, the children ask me, "Dear Hayr, are we going to have the summer camp next year?" My answer to them has always been, as long as God gives me the strength, we will have. God is the one who said, "Leave your fatherless children, I will keep them alive." Your widows too can depend on me. Jeremiah 49:11.